We start in the US city of Nashville in the state of Tennessee, where an explosion has caused widespread damage. A parked vehicle blew up in the downtown area. Eyewitnesses say they heard a loud boom early on Christmas morning, followed by black smoke and billowing flames. The blast blew out windows and damaged surrounding buildings. Police say they believe the explosion was intentional. Emergency crews are at the scene. Well, joining us now on the phone from Nashville is Betsy Williams, whose apartment is directly opposite where the vehicle exploded. Welcome to DW, Betsy. When did all this start?
Thank you. This started about 4:30 this morning, Central Time, and we heard gunshots out on the street, and they were very loud. And you know, we're in a big entertainment district, and so we were concerned about that. But then it happened again, and so a few minutes later, so we called 911, and then the gunshots happened for the third time, and they were very loud, and it was like it was from an automatic weapon. But, you know, thinking back on that now, were they really firing the shots, or was that some recording that they were had out there? I don't know. But then, after the third series of gunshots, we heard, we noticed an RV, a white RV parked right across the street. And coming from the RV was a computerized voice message saying, "Evacuate now, evacuate now. This vehicle has a bomb. It will explode. Evacuate now." And so this went on for about 30 minutes, and or about that. You know, it's not like I was sitting there looking at my phone trying to figure out what the time was on this, but it was about 30 minutes that happened, and then it started on a countdown where it said, "This vehicle will explode in 15 minutes. And then in 14 minutes, and then you know, we started really gathering our things up. I got my cat in her carrier. I got my son, who was staying in another apartment that was also overlooking 2nd Avenue, and we were all very concerned about all this. And then my 85-year-old sister was staying in another apartment that was on the other side of the building, on the back side overlooking the river. And so we all went down, got in the car, and left. And we went across the bridge over to LP Field, or Nissan Stadium. I keep calling it LP Field. It's Nissan Stadium. And we went over there and sat there for about 20 minutes.
And you could still see your apartment from where you were sat?
We could see the back of it, yes. Mm-hmm. We couldn't see the 2nd Avenue side. We could see 1st Avenue, which those streets run parallel to one another. So then we went back. I said, well, clearly nothing's going to happen. So I drove back, came back down 2nd Avenue, headed north on 2nd Avenue, and got to Broadway, which is our main thoroughfare through our entertainment district in Nashville, where all the honky-tonks are. And I was sitting there because the police did have 2nd Avenue blocked off. And I was trying to decide, am I going to go park the car, go back, you know, and it exploded. And the fireball from that thing rose up past the top of the AT&T property that was sitting there. And you know, I've seen all these other pictures since, and it completely blew out the entire front of the 3 to 4 buildings that are just north of ours, blew out all of our windows, blew out windows on the back side of the building, the river side of the building, blew all of those windows out, and also blew windows out on 3rd Avenue, which was a block over. So the
windows in your building were blown out. So what would have happened if you'd have stayed?
I would have been killed. I would have been killed. I would have been, at the very least, severely injured. But because I was sitting right there, I mean, we raised the window so we could really clearly hear what the RV was saying, and to make sure it was coming from the RV. And it was indeed coming from the RV. And I don't know what pictures you've seen. There was a white car that was parked a couple of spaces behind that RV, which was, of course, destroyed in the explosion, but there was nothing left of that RV. It went, I mean, it completely exploded. I mean, I'm sure they'll find remnants of it, but yeah.
And so the RV you say was outside the AT&T building. I mean, is there anything in that area that could have been a target?
I don't know. I know that there are some communications equipment that AT&T has in that building, but I don't know how, because they actually moved their headquarters to what we call the Batman building in 1996, I think. But they still retain that building over there, and I know that they do have some equipment in it. It doesn't have any windows. They don't have many people who work over there. You know, it's a fairly desolate building in terms of pedestrian activity and all of this. And like I said, no windows. And that the RV was parked right there in front of that building. And this RV was an older model, but it was in pristine condition. I mean, in terms of looking at it, it was white. Right. And not any dirt on it, didn't have any markings on it that I could see when I looked at it. But, you know, I didn't take a photograph, and why I didn't take a photograph of it, I don't know.
Because it was just sitting in the street. It's just a car. You weren't to know it was going to go up in flames. But, how long did it take? How long did it take for police to arrive?
Well, the police got there fairly quickly after the 911 call. You know, they got there pretty quickly. They sent 2 cars down there. I mean, you know, it's gunshots. And then they got out and heard that thing. And when that thing started going off, you know, we didn't go down. We weren't trying to buy, because what if there'd been a gunman on the street? You know, so because that could have been what the scenario was. That was the one that made the most sense to us. We didn't want to draw attention to our building up there, you know, because I didn't want to get shot.
Well, we're very glad you're safe, and thank you so much for talking to us here at
You're
DW,
welcome.
Betsy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you so
Christmas.
much. Thank you for checking on us. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That's Betsy Williams, a Nashville resident.